Hey YouTube, welcome to my personal vlogging channel. In this video I actually more intend to test the lighting like a lot of my personal channels become. And I think I'm going to need to get a light to kind of shine over here. Because the way I see myself in a mirror that I have, it looks like I'm casting too much of a shadow this way. It's going to take some trial and error to get this right. But, you know, this is actually for a basic computer help video that's coming up later. But I was doing some cleaning and I found some stuff that kind of takes me aback a little bit. You know, I think I showed this in one of my previous videos, but it's a bunch of resistors and capacitors. I have some of course some lights. I have plans for these things in a future basic computer help video. As I think I said in that one where I found it was, basically a computer is anything that computes, so I could stretch that to be whatever the hell I want. Technically, I could get one of those old calculators where you had to move the things. I forget what it was called. I remember I pissed a lot of people off in elementary school because I learned how to use it, and I actually did a few of my math assignments with it just to be irritating in class. I was that kind of a person. But I also found on this, which has IC chips, a whole bunch of IC chips. My dad actually handed this to me when I was starting to experiment with electronics, and it kind of got thrown in a bin when I had to move into a bedroom with my brother. Yeah, but I did the other day, yesterday when I found this, I started doing some Googling of these little chip part numbers, and I found that I have a lot of logic chips. So I might be able to do the 4-bit computer without using any transistors or anything, just a whole bunch of logic circuits. The only thing was I was planning to use a 9-volt battery and then giving you a nice warning, but some of my chips can't handle more than 7 volts. So I'll have to dig out my old, I know where it's at too, my old benchtop power supply that I put away because my brother used to like to hear the click on the front of the thing, and my mother was afraid he would get electrocuted even though it wasn't plugged in. I also, that's not the right one, found a little EEPROM. I mean, I'm working on Googling the part number. Can't seem to find what kind of EEPROM it is or any data sheet on it. Let's just shove that over here and put this down here. Here's something. Nice blast from the past. This is the very first hard drive I installed on the very first computer I ever built. It's not the first hard drive I installed. This one is 80 gigs. The first hard drive I ever installed. It was the biggest one available at the time, and it was 60 gigs. That was in my mom's computer. I was 11 years old. Wow, I'm starting to feel old. This one I put in my computer when I was 17. They had bigger options. This was like the 3rd biggest you can get at the time. My dad splurged when he got his 40 gig hard drive too. This is the very first game I ever played. Demons to Diamonds. To be used with the paddle controllers for the Atari. I believe this was for the 2600. I also found my old knife. I got this when I was 14. When I got it, I had a room by myself, and I actually had this on a shelf, displayed, kind of, it's a wolf, and I had it displayed. And then I moved in with my brother. He was like into a bedroom with my brother when I was 15, and my mom was worried he would grab it. Well, no, she wasn't worried. I just didn't put it up because I didn't want him to play with it. I want to get back into RC car racing. I wonder if I could still do it with this. I gotta pull it apart, see if it still works, or plug it in, see if it still works. Very first MMO game I ever played. You have EverQuest. I got this. It was about, I want to say 6 months after it came out, and I remember for my PlayStation I had to buy the network adapter with it. I got this a month after it came out. My next door neighbor, who I used to play games with all the time, I keep checking to see if it's still recording. I'm using a mirror. He got this the week, if it wasn't the day it came out. And I liked the way it looked. A future episode of The Voyage, I intend to talk about this, because one of my viewers, my regular viewers, actually asked me how I felt about my very first MMO game getting terminated. So, yeah, I also found my old power cell. My basic computer help, I intend to go into some electronics. Probably pull out my old benchtop power supply. Oh, one more thing. My Star Trek Monopoly. I don't know where any of my other Monopoly games went. I used to have a bunch of Monopoly games. Star Wars. This is the only one I ever didn't really open. It wasn't to preserve its value. It kind of got open a little bit on the backside just from it being in storage. I didn't keep it closed to keep the value. I kept it closed because I had so many other Monopoly boards that were already open, and I didn't want to lose too much of it. Alright, like I said, I just made this for testing. This is on my Nikon, which will give me a clue how my Sanyo will work in this environment. Alright, have a nice day.